Okay, so I guess this is take 4. We'll see how it goes. So the problem that Caleb and I are having, we're struggling with, is using OBS Studios, the free video recording software, with free Discord, and they don't like to play well together for some unknown reason. It doesn't seem to matter what I do with the
Yeah.
settings. Once that software is up and running, Discord video has an audio video delay. They're not fully synchronized by a fraction of a second, as you can probably see. So it is what it is, and I just don't have a solution for that. I just don't. So, nonetheless, we are here, and Caleb and I are going to talk about why people play role playing games. So, what we're doing is Julie and I are two DMs. I'm doing first edition, she does fifth edition, and we created this YouTube channel called DMs Through the Ages because we're generation and a half apart. That's how we came up with that name. And we have a playlist called Roll for Mastery, which Julie and I talk about DMing stuff for RPGs, with emphasis obviously on Dungeons and Dragons because that's what we play. And I decided that I thought it'd be interesting to sit down with some of the players sometimes and get their perspectives on things that are not specifically related to the DM perspective or DMing aspects, Dungeon Master aspects of things. So I asked Caleb if he would be interested. He said he would. And our chosen topic for this video is going to be why people play role-playing games. So Caleb, since this is your first time on a YouTube video with me for DMs Through the Ages, can you take a second and introduce yourself?
Yeah, obviously I'm Caleb. I'm playing right now Keith's first edition game, and then I'm now playing uh what the heck is it called? Um the new one, Heart.
Daggerheart.
Can't remember what it's called. It's the Daggerheart. And I'm not. I don't know. Still getting used to it. But I used to play first edition. I've been playing first edition. I've been playing 5e for the past like year and a half, but that was super sporadic. And it's definitely two different worlds. I did play a lot, decent amount in high school, but that kind of fizzled out because they started doing some weird homebrews. Like I don't know if you know what the show Naruto is.
I don't know.
Yeah, it's a weird. It's not my cup of tea, but they tried doing like a Naruto D&D, and I'm like, I'm gonna kind of page out of this. But I've mainly really been playing a lot of like video game RPGs, and that's what really kind of got me interested.
That got you interested in what?
Just but well, obviously I've always had a thing for D&D. My stepdad actually is the one that introduced it to me. He gave me the it's the book with like the red book with the dragon with a sitting on top of the gold.
Oh yeah, yeah. You're talking about a first edition.
Yeah,
Yeah.
he gave me his set, and I'm
hmm
like, what is this? And he's like, check it out, and that kind of what got me into it. Um, and then I've been playing but as like a middle schooler, most people like it was kind of like starting to get into the more people were doing like online stuff, so I didn't really have access to that until recently. So I mainly played like Elder Scrolls games, or I'd even consider like obviously like Fallout's an RPG. Like that's what kind of got my thing. And then a coworker of mine where I currently work, he was like, "Hey, do you want to play D&D?" And I'm like, "Absolutely, I do." But like I said, it's a super sporadic scheduling. So I was like, "Well, I kind of want something more consistent." So that's how Keith and I ended up getting in touch because he was starting a first edition game.
So the number one killer of D&D games is scheduling. Absolutely.
Yeah,
And anyone
that
who
kind of
plays will tell you that. Yeah.
yeah, it kind of sucks. And like, because we did something like we ended on like a super big cliffhanger. I'm like, man, I can't wait to get into it. And then it's like 3 months later, I'm like, oh yeah, I kind of forgot that we were in that situation.
So it's always good to finish, like leave them hanging with leave them wanting more. But yeah, when you're talking months and stuff, it's you lose that momentum. But that's not what we're talking about. So, all right. So you've been playing D&D. Now, have you played any other RPGs?
Tabletop? No.
Yeah, tabletop. Yeah, video games are video games.
Nope, nope. The only tabletop I've really played is this. Yeah, because then the rest of it's just been like card game tabletops.
So how many sessions are you guys into Daggerheart? Just the one?
Yeah, we did session 0, and our next session is I think the 16th.
All right, so
So
you haven't had session one yet, like an actual gameplay?
no, we had session we had session 0, and then we had session 1. I think about 3 weeks ago, 3 4 weeks
Okay.
ago, and it just right off the bat it is. I think we ended with like we're fighting some giant lizard creature that's like 10 times our size, and this is session 1. So I don't know.
So it's and again I know nothing about it. I just know the publisher, the basis behind it being Critical Role, but I know nothing about the game itself. It's a D12 system, but I don't know how
Yeah,
it's played. I don't know races, classes. I don't know anything about the game. I know
yeah.
that you had
I
expressed some concern about it. That it's not the clearest in terms of its foundational rule set and the
Not
game
right now
and the
because
game mechanics. But maybe in due time, you'll gain some clarity on that. But yeah, Daggerheart.
yeah, I love it because we're doing something crazy. Like so, I Erica wanted me to do something like she's like just come up with the weirdest backstory to see like how they can work it into the game. And so I'm a clanker, which is a robot. And the reason why I'm in this town that we're in is because my dad had recently died. He's also a robot, and I'm short on some money because instead of like you have like 5 gold, 10 gold, you just have a handful of gold. Yeah, so I'm really short on money, so I'm in town to sell my dad's body for scrap. And right off the bat, someone steals them, and I have to go find them because they stole my money. And this whole like overlord is wanting something special about my dad's body. I don't know. That's kind of the setup of the game right now.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
like I don't know how that got in, how that worked out, but it worked out pretty funny.
Now, is this the same group of people you're playing Daggerheart with that you were playing 5e with?
Yep, yep.
Okay, okay.
Um, yeah, I think she wanted to do something a little bit different, just because we kind of we had the first DM, which I think she's really good. The scheduling is what kind of sucks about it, but I think as a whole, she's very good at trying to get people, like everyone involved. Because we have like 6 or 7 people in that game, and that can kind of get kind of tough. But she's very good. But she wanted a quick break, so she gave it to another guy, and he's a nice guy, but he dropped the ball on a couple things. He half mentioned the price on something, and we found 10 of them, and then the price on it was just ridiculous. It was like 1 million gold or something. And I'm really good at taking notes with our game, but I rarely take notes. But I'm like, I'm writing that down. And so I wrote it down, and someone else did too. So we got into town and we sold it. So between all of us, we had like 1 million gold. So there was absolutely no reason for us to keep playing. So when she took over, she's like, "No, we're starting a new game because you guys, you have everything. You don't need anything anymore."
And this was in the 5e game.
Yeah,
Yeah. See, and I think that I'm not gonna. I don't want to get off track. Okay. So let's talk about. Let's kind of get back to topic here. So circling back to where you started here in the conversation, what was it that first drew you into D&D to role playing games? What attracted you about the game?
you can. I mean, yeah, you can really do anything. Like pretty much anything you want. And you can be you can kind of create this own character and just kind of do whatever you want. Like my character, he plays this the dummy that just he's hard headed and he's like, "Oh, I'm gonna do this. Don't do that." Well, I'm gonna do it now because you told me no. And there's like really no real consequences for what I do besides if my character dies. But like in person, like I couldn't walk up to some random person and just punch him right in the face. I'm gonna end up in jail.
Right. Yeah.
But
Yeah.
my other one, I can fight it out and then talk someone out. Like, hey, you punched me first. Okay, go out your day. you little dwarf. Why don't be starting any more fights? So I just like the fact that you can really do what you want and the social aspect. I mean I think that our group that we play on Tuesdays is hilarious. I love them. I look forward to it every single Tuesday.
So, yeah, I agree. I agree with you 100%. There are like the ladies I play with on Sunday night. There are a couple who their facial reactions and their physical responses, people to what's going on in that game, just amuse me. That makes me laugh more than anything,
Oh
more than
yeah.
their reactions entertain me more, I think, than the actual gameplay itself sometimes.
Oh
Um,
yeah.
because just to them as the person, as the player, the unexpected happened, in a social interaction, and it's comical and so on. Anyway, so I think you're spot on. I'm not sure where you said it, but I know you just said it about the social aspect, right? So with any game that you play, short of a video game, which is playing by yourself,
Mhm.
nearly every game you play involves other people, right?
Yep.
Sports involves other people. It can be a solo sport. You can be a runner, but you're still going to be complete, running against other people or next to other people. So there's a certain, it's with other people. You play a board game. Not very many are solo games, right? Card
Yep.
games, and certainly, RPGs, role-playing games. It's a social game. Multiple people, because in an RPG you have to have at least two. You have to have the
Yep.
player and the game master or the dungeon master, so you have to have at least two. So there's certainly people come together from the social aspect, right?
Mhm.
And the benefit of that, I don't want to say the benefit. People come together for that for a variety of different reasons, right? Some are looking to make new friends. Some just need to get out of the
Yep.
house and have, and like socialize something, not necessarily looking for a true connection, but just to get out and
Yep.
talk to people, right? If you're a parent of a young child, a stay-at-home parent, let's say, and you're dealing with those children all day, all day, all day, all day, you need a break from children. You need to go interact with adults. So maybe you need to
Yep.
get out of the house
Exactly.
just to have that social interaction with other people. But for a lot of people, they do want to. They have a desire to make connections, and I think for most people with, I'll explain why. Air quotes here, normal social skills. Um, when you sit down at a table, or in our case, for Caleb and I, we play online. But when you come together at that physical or virtual table, you do socialize a little bit, right? You might talk a couple
Oh yeah.
minutes before the game, after the game, maybe even during the game. And over time, you start to develop a certain rapport, at the very least, with those other people at your table.
Mhm.
Maybe even develop a bond, right? Maybe even develop a friendship over time with those people if you
Mhm.
interact with them enough, open up enough, you share, and and it kind of creates a sense of community. And the other day, someone who I game with shared with their group that they play with that,
Mhm.
hey man, it's unfortunate, man, I lost my job.
Oh
So, and then they later came back and shared with me, hey man, I have a great sense of community at my game table. Like everyone was really supportive and backing me up, and we're going to boycott that employer, and all this stuff
yeah. I
just
mean,
to be being supportive. They've developed that sense of community at their table. It's been a couple of years since they've all kind of been playing together, but that community develops, over time, kind of very
oh yeah.
organically. So it does kind of foster or um, creates a fertile ground, so to speak, to create those bonds, those relationships, and I think it's up to the individual to take from that what they want, right? How far do I want to involve this relationship, this friendship, this whatever it is, to them. But
Mhm.
I think that's a big factor for a lot of people is that physical, real life social interaction, and not just on a video game where I can't see who the hell I'm playing with halfway across the world, and
Yep.
I may or may not be able to talk to them, on a headset. Most people don't, um,
Mhm.
but I can't see them. You're a gamer, you would know better, but from what I understand, most of those multi online role playing, whatever they are, MMORPG, whatever the hell they're called, right? Um,
So
you're not seeing those 5 million people that are playing at the same time. It's just not possible, right? And
you need to be like a
even if I'm playing it like in a small like a combat group,
mm,
Call of Duty or something, one of those type games, and I'm playing with 4 or 5 other guys, I don't see those 4 or 5 other guys on my screen, right?
just through the headset
Yeah, you can hear them,
or through a text chat.
right? So that doesn't foster in the same way the kind of relationship when I can see you. You know,
Yep.
even if I see you on the screen, that's better than not seeing you at all. And seeing you
Yeah,
in
exactly.
person with my own eyes, physically there across from the table, is even better.
Oh yeah, because
You
I
know?
mean, 'cause you're all in the same room. You're all there to do the same thing. Like you all want to be there.
Yeah. So, and that's there's a certain aspect of there too about distance learning, working remote, and so on. And that's kind of how there's a big boom in online role playing games in the past few years when we had the pandemic of COVID and
Mm.
everyone was staying home, but they still want to play, and the technology facilitated that, which I think is fantastic. But playing online through a screen is not the same as playing in person. It's just not.
Oh no,
It's just not.
'cause I
And
know.
it doesn't foster the same kind of social environment.
Yeah, because I know like my in-person game, like we all rotate on whose turn it is to buy like the snacks. Um, like obviously we have our little Discord little side chat, but like in person, they're like if so and so is doing something, like me and Erica might be like whispering to each other like, "Hey, we're gonna do this, right?" And they're like, "What are you doing? Nothing. What's up? What are you doing?" Like it's just kind of all goofing around while we're all still playing this game.
So and there's and food always brings people together. It doesn't matter
Oh,
what you're doing,
absolutely.
right? So I think the game in this case the game brings people before the food does, but there's always food involved to further support
Hmm.
that social aspect, right? But one thing I like too about it is it seems like, and this is a generalization, it seems like people who play lose their social. What's the word I'm looking for? Not inhibitions. Their social biases, their social prejudices when they come
Oh
together to
yeah.
play. Now, I know that's not always, but I think in general that seems to kind of at least soften, if not dissolve altogether, for a lot of groups that play. Certainly at the games I play in, that's kind of a
Hmm.
requirement that whoever plays gets to play, and we're not judging them. But your racial bias, your political beliefs, all that, at least it should go out the window, right?
Yeah, because
Because you're
we're
just coming together to play, man. Let's just play.
exactly like we all want to play a game. Like we're playing a fantasy game. Like let's not think about what's going on right now and play for like 2 3 hours. Just focus on the game.
So,
And then, like you said, when we become friends, like we all like because all of us we all have different backgrounds. Like we're all come from very. I mean, you're in the South. I'm in old boring old Corn State, Iowa, and we've never met in person. But I mean, I consider you a really good friend now. So and we all, I mean, we all have our little game chat that even when we're not playing throughout the week, we'll all just be talking back and forth. Like, hey, how's it going?
you know,
I hope you're doing
and that's a
well.
nice thing. That's one thing I do like about the online aspect, or I shouldn't say the online, that having that digital tool to communicate amongst the group. Because even with my Friday night game, which is an in-person game, we still use Discord to kind of stay in touch with each other throughout the week. So we don't have, I have no one's personal phone number. I don't think I do,
Mm.
or even their email address. I have no way to get in touch with these people other than Discord. But it's a fantastic medium for
Oh
that.
yeah.
I mean, that's what Discord's about. It's about the gaming chat, right? That's what people do on Discord. Um, and even in our in-person game, we do that throughout the week. We talk about a little bit what's going on in life, mostly D&D focus, what's going on in D&D
Hmm.
or what's going on in the game that we're playing. But we stay in touch. We talk throughout the week. And again, that further fosters or develops that bond, that relationship. And on Friday night, the game store I play at, there's another game and now a second game that plays same place, same time. And a couple weeks ago, we coordinated, and a bunch of us from the two games went to the local. professional baseball game. To, kind
There
of,
you go.
I don't want to say like uh, team building, but in the spirit of all of us, the commonality of D&D, we all play together. Let's go do something outside of that to again foster that social aspect, right?
A little gaming outing.
Yeah, it's exactly what I was hoping we were going to get more than what we did, so we could get like the special area you can kind of rent out,
Oh yeah,
but
yeah,
we,
like
we
the
just we just didn't have
model
enough
game.
interest. We couldn't get enough interest in that, but
Yeah,
so
because like like 'cause I mean I'm part of some kind of fraternity, but I know most of those guys. They just go out of there out of habit. Like I see a lot of the guys that like one of the younger guys, they'll stand up and say something, and they'll just be rolling their eyes and everything. I'm like, why are you even here? But like even in all the games I'm in, well, like the two games I'm in, everyone is there and they're just excited to be there.
right, everyone wants to
Not
be
just
there, yeah.
like if say like Julie's talking, I'm not like, oh, Julie's talking. Like no, I'm like I want to see what she says.
So okay, and to that point, like I always feel bad for Paul because it seems like every time that man speaks up, someone talks right on top of him.
Oh, I past couple games, he's just like, I want to do this. I'm like, yes, I absolutely love it. He's just off the rails, and I love it.
So you said earlier, I'm not sure if we were recording yet or not. I think we were. That one of the things you like about it is you can be someone that's not Caleb, right? You were saying, hey,
Yeah,
man, like I can't go out wherever to the store or to the restaurant, sit at the bar and have a drink with my wife, and someone's giving me a hard time. I just can't swing at them because I might get my ass kicked and I might get locked up, right? So I can't do that.
yeah,
I just got to turn and walk away.
yep,
But in the game, it's completely different. You can be anyone you want to be. You can behave in any way that you want to behave.
hmm
And not only is that the actual role playing, but that's a way I think for a lot of people to relieve some stress, to compartmentalize, set aside life, set aside their world, and let's just come over here and just have some fun and block everything out for a few hours, once a week, once a month, whatever the frequency of play is. I think for some people that's why they play.
oh yeah. It's like if because I like to play my character just very dumb, and if I get egged on, I'm gonna just go with it. Like kind of like Back to the Future with like someone would call Marty McFly like a scaredy cat. Like that sets him off. That's how I like to play my character. Oh well, you said it. All right, let's go. Like you did it. Like in person, in real life, I'm not like that. I'm very non-confrontational. But my character, it's just I'm very. What'd you say to me? All right, well we're fighting now. Like you started it. Sorry.
And I think people do that for a variety of reasons, but one is there's no real life consequences for that, right? Because it's
Exactly.
make believe,
Yep.
it's a game, we're just pretending like it's okay. Everyone's going to go home tonight, kind of, nothing's going to
Yep.
happen. So just go for it. Why not? So it's
Exactly.
an opportunity to behave in ways that you wouldn't normally behave. You can try different things. There's again no real life consequences. So you get the chance to kind of screw around a little bit.
Yep. That's a big part of it. Like I always end up playing like the big oaf, the big dumb oaf, and I love and it's my favorite thing. But and it's just I'm a very what the heck is it called? Not very introverted person. So like this is the way to kind of get out of my shell.
So
And
go ahead. I'm sorry.
and I like I'm not very like if I am in groups if I am like with groups of people I'm not very talkative. Just kind of like I stick to the one person I know and I call it good. But like this being in like a game with no one. I mean Erica was in it for a little bit, but now it's just me. I talk to everybody and it's fine. But usually if I'm in a group of setting with people I'm not really familiar with, it's just I'll find the one guy I kind of know. He has to deal with me the rest of the night, kind of deal.
So you said what you just said about being a little introverted, maybe a little shy in real life social scenarios or
Hmm
situations. And earlier I said normal social skills, right? Put the air quote. So what I was kind of in my mind, what I was holding back was kind of that, right? There are a lot of people who in real life don't feel or might be socially awkward, right? Or feel a
hmm
little shy. And if they're playing a role-playing game, sometimes that can help these people loosen up a little, even if it's only for a few hours in that game, right? Can kind of loosen up a little bit because they don't have
Mhm.
to be themselves. They're going to be this
Exactly. Yep.
character that they've created or it's been given to them to play. And that can kind of lower people's inhibitions and they can kind of cut loose, they can relax, they can be comfortable. And
Yep.
in time, for those who are, that quote unquote, socially awkward, that can actually help build social skills for some people. I think
Oh.
especially for younger children, in their early teens or preteen who might be playing role playing games. It helps build that social confidence, kind of like public speaking,
Oh
and
yeah.
social situations become a little less awkward because they're speaking maybe in character and they're speaking to people that they may or may not know or may not know well at their table.
Mhm. Yeah, especially like an in-person game that can really, I feel like that can really help out because I know because like I said, I used to play a lot of card games. There was a card shop up the street from me. It was really big into Yu-Gi-Oh. That's a money pit game, I'll tell you. But I used to go every Saturday. I'd go to it was Yu-Gi-Oh Saturdays, and it was just a whole bunch of people. Just they're all there to play games, and I saw like from like I think I was like 16 at the time, from like 15 to 40, and we're all just interacting with each other because we're all just having a good time. And it's people actually having to do other stuff because there's like a whole bunch of like trading involved. So like a lot of people like they have to like they learn how to negotiate, kind of wheel and deal, kind of notice if someone's trying to like con you or not. Because I saw that all the time. That was a big way to kind of get people out of their shell too. Because like if I'm trying to give you a card that's worth like $10 and you're only trying to give me one that's like $5, I have to be like, no, no, we're not doing this. I know what you're trying to do.
So, and it does that as well. It fosters the creativity, strategy, negotiation, problem
Mhm.
solving skills, and working together as a team. Because unless it's just one player and the game master, you're playing with other
Oh yeah,
people, and those other people role playing with their characters have to come together and play together. So
you kind of have to think about them too.
right. So I think it definitely helps with the working as a team. And if you're in your teens, for example, well, it would apply to anyone, but especially if you're in your teens, it helps you work as a team. So when you go into the real life workforce and you have to work
Mhm.
with other people and maybe people you don't really care for, you kind of have to learn to work together.
Yep, because I know being the old grumpy man I am now, because I'm almost 29. That's ridiculous. I'll work with people that are like right out of 18. Like there's this I'll see this one guy fresh out of high school, and I work in a shop like a metal fabrication shop. So there's a lot of heavy stuff, and there's a lot of time where you have to be like, hey, can you help me out really quick? And most of the people, yeah, sure, whatever, like because they've done it. But there's this new kid, and like, hey, can you help me out? And this guy was having to ask him a couple times a day, and he'd be like, no. I'm like, everyone's like, what do you? This is a kind of to work as a team here. Like, don't be telling people no if they want, because they don't want to hurt their back or
Right,
something.
right,
Come
yeah,
on.
yeah.
And so like, it is just, I just see that a lot. So I don't know. A
So
lot of the,
you talk about the age difference, or the new guy. Maybe it's not an age thing, but the new guy, right? So Julie and I, who plays with us on Tuesday night, so the Tuesday night. I shouldn't. It sounds so bad when I say that. She plays with us. She plays in our Tuesday night game, and she's the woman who I do the other series of videos with for Roll for Mastery. But we have I'm doing the math how old I am. We have roughly 50, roughly 22 years or so between us. 22, 23 years between us. So that's like a generation and a half, depending how you do your math, right? But
yeah.
but we come together for the game because
Oh
that's
yeah.
our commonality for Julie and I was D&D, right? Because
Oh yeah.
otherwise, would I probably have built a rapport with this otherwise, woman I met at the sitting next to the bar or something. Yeah, maybe I had some small chat and have a good night, and we both go our separate ways. But since we
Yeah.
since we both go to the same game store and we both run games and now she plays in the Tuesday night game with us. We built that rapport over time, despite the age factor, right? And
Yeah.
and despite the gender factor. And I say that because my Sunday game, all women players,
Hmm.
and that was by design. Friday night are all men by coincidence. And
There you
Tuesday,
go.
we're co-ed, we're half and half.
Yep.
you know. But there are plenty of people who have, again, have their biases and so on. But that often falls to the wayside once you start getting involved and you start playing. And I would
Oh
liken
yeah.
that to any sports team, right? If you play sports as a kid or as a professional or in college, you can't really have. I shouldn't say that. You need to at least suppress your prejudice and your biases because there's going to be someone on that team, very likely, that would go again, would fulfill your concerns, your biases, your prejudices. So you got to suppress that at least for the duration of the game or the practice or whatever, right? You need to put that aside. Otherwise, it's just not going to work out, right? And
Yep.
now and nowadays, we need to also say, you know, um, LGBTQ. You need to put your biases aside for that because there's a good I don't want to say good portion, but there are a lot of people who play D&D who are amongst the LGBTQ plus community. Um,
Hmm.
so you have to put you don't have to, you know what I'm saying, but you
You should.
should put that aside because you just want to play the game. It shouldn't matter who's sitting next to you. Okay,
No.
if you
And
don't like that religion, race, political belief, whatever, put it to the side for a few hours, play the game because it shouldn't come up during the game or while you're there at the table, and then when you walk
mhm.
out, you can be you again. The whole idea is just an opportunity for you to come to the table and not be you,
Yep. Exactly.
and not be you. So
Yeah. That's why I just really like everyone. I mean, it's kind of worked out. It's kind of funny how it worked out that actually out of all 50 states, our game is kind of split between the two states. We got two
yeah,
Iowa
yeah,
and
yeah,
then
and three of us in Virginia. Yeah,
yeah, I thought that was funny how kind of how that worked out.
yeah, and that's really coincidence too. We had one other guy. This is
I don't
Tuesday.
even remember where he's from.
Yeah, Parsival. Well, he relocated shortly after he joined, as after we
Yeah,
started, and hence his dropping out from the game. I think he's in Texas now. Maybe he was in. I have no idea where he was from. I'm not even going to try to guess, but
yeah,
yeah. So
I
so
think
you're
he
right.
just
Right now we're split. We got three of us in Virginia and two of us in Iowa. So
yeah.
and then on Sunday, New York, Idaho, Florida, California, Virginia. So all
That's a
over the
split
place.
right there.
All over the place. Yeah.
Yeah, yeah, it's
So,
kind of cool because I mean, and then there's obviously like the different like weird quirks that kind of
yep.
brings too.
You froze up for a
Because
second.
like a New Yorker, yeah, my back.
Yeah, good. Yeah. Okay. So it's something about quirks.
Yeah, like a New Yorker and a California person, they're gonna act, they're gonna have different things.
So
So I think that's kind of cool too.
yeah, and that not only your geography of that, or your social subclasses, but your geography plays a like you said, brings a different perspective. Gender plays a role in that as well. Race
Mhm.
plays a role in that as well. Um, Personal experiences, life experience. So that's why I think it's all the better to have a diverse group
Oh yeah,
hitting as many of those markers as you can when it comes to the game because the game involves a lot of creativity, a lot of strategy, a lot of problem solving, and people problem solve in different ways. Some of us are
yeah,
better
because
at it than others, and you can draw from that. From if I'm not a good problem solver and these two guys are, well, I'll put in my 2 cents, but I'm going to pay attention because I
yeah,
want my character to live, and I might actually learn something in real life.
it'd be a very boring game if it was like five of the same people that thought the same way. It would just be, hey, should we do this? Okay. Should we do this? Okay. How about this?
No.
Same way. It's just not fun.
So what you're saying is we shouldn't have five white guys from corn country all in the same game.
No, it'd be very. I mean, they honestly they wouldn't be playing, but no, it'd just be very boring.
Okay, so how do you address that then if you're playing in person? When you're playing in person, you have a much smaller pool geographically to pull from because people aren't going to drive
Yeah.
5 hours to play, right? They're only going to come within 10, 15, half hour, maybe an hour drive, depending upon the person. So your pool is much smaller.
Well, I think like I mean, you might want to do like kind of like how our first interaction was like, hey, let's give you a call. I want to kind of ask you a couple questions. We can kind of chat for like an hour. And it might be one of those like, hey, I'm sorry about this game. Kind of want to see if I can get a feel for everybody. And I mean, like a session, not a session zero, like a pre-session zero might be
So yeah,
helpful
and I
to kind of
remember
see
that
how it
call
feels.
because we were both on the road. We were both driving somewhere. I don't remember where it was or
Yep.
when, but I remember we were both on the road. You and your wife were driving back from somewhere, and I was driving back from somewhere. In our
Yep.
hell, I don't even know what state I was in, to be honest with you. Anyway, and we had that kind of interview type call that
Yep.
kind of just like just to get a feel for each other as to what style of play we would like. Now, at the time, since this was a video call, I think on Discord or Facebook or something.
I
Oh,
think it
it,
was
it
Facebook.
wasn't a video call because we were driving, so it was just an audio
Yeah, I
call,
think it was
right?
just an audio call.
So
Yep.
we hadn't met each other at all before. So
Mhm.
in that sense, it was kind of like the NBC show The Voice, right? When the judges are facing backwards and can't see the singer, and they just listen and
Yep.
say, "Hey man, I like this singer," and then they turn around and see what they got, right? So
Yeah,
it
'cause
was
I
kind of
think
like that.
the only thing really was because I saw that like D&D Finders, and I think I made a status like, "Hey, me and my wife are looking for a more steady game, yada yada yada." And I think you said something like, "You know what? Sure, I'll message them." And then I think the only thing I really saw was your profile picture, and you saw mine. That's all we really
And
knew
and that
about
was
each
probably the
other.
extent of it. Well, I did kind of Facebook stalk all my players before just to see to get a sense of who I might be, but to that point, like to get a sense of who I might be playing with, right?
Yeah.
Because while I have no problem with diversity, and I'm not going to be, and I do believe in at least relative inclusion in the game.
Mhm.
I didn't want someone who's a wackadoo come into my
Oh
game,
yeah,
So
because that could kill the entire thing. Because like
right,
I don't want
so
to be
so we had
Bill's
to
in here. I don't want to be behind
we had
that.
to kind of sift some people out, and I did filter out, and even in my in-person game Friday nights, when I first started that, I had what I call an open table. I'm in a public
Mhm.
venue or a public game, not public, but in a game store, so anyone can come in. And as far as I was concerned, anyone could come in and play at my table.
Mhm.
And then over time, people started getting more consistent, and some started getting inconsistent. And that's when I said, okay, well, here's the consistent group. This is now our group, and everyone else can
Yeah.
go take a hike.
Yeah. I mean, that's kind of a way to do it, just to kind of see who really works together and like who's really serious about it and
Yeah,
who
and
really isn't. Like,
and it does take time, right? And before I even say that, so after I just said it all about inclusion, I just said, oh yeah, you guys can take a hike. It's not quite like that.
well,
So
yeah.
it's because what you're trying to find the group that everyone kind of likes each other, at least enough to play the game,
Yep.
and they work
Yep.
well together as a team building. They have to kind of congeal, and sometimes that takes time to find that. Some will come, some will go. This person's not a
Mhm.
good fit. They realize it and they leave on their own or they're not interested. Other times you might get someone who comes to the group to play and they're not a good fit and the group has to kick them out. But it takes
Yeah.
time to find the right group.
We actually had to do that in my in-person game. Kind of funny. It's actually Erica's stepbrother. He was like super. He was weirdly in it. Like he was one of those guys. He'd do all the voices. He'd like do all this stuff. But then like every other game, he'd be like, can't make it. Can't make it. Well then, so what? The last session where he couldn't make it, we're all like, do you want to keep like having someone play his character? And the DM's like, no. So she's like, he's out. Sorry. And then
So
like
in
he's like, yeah, I get it.
in the Sunday night group, that was the first group that I started, and one, two, three, four, counting my wife who left on her own. I shed four players over time to finally come to the four that I have now. One guy was unreliable, and we said just that. You're unreliable. Have a good day. We can't count on you.
Yeah.
Another guy left because of work.
Mm.
And you don't really know because we weren't together long enough. Maybe he didn't like me. Maybe he didn't like the style of play, but the excuse was work. And the other guy was having some health issues with some minor changes in scheduling and work and stuff, so he left as well. My wife doesn't like online play. It took her a while to realize that, but she doesn't like the online play. She likes in person, but can't do the online. I was getting ready to kick her out actually because she was becoming unreliable to the group. And that's because like she wasn't really committed to it because she wasn't enjoying it enough. So like I was getting ready to have that conversation with her and say, this isn't for you. You kind of holding me back
Hey,
here. But she kind of came to the realization that it wasn't really for her and she left on her own.
I mean, if it happens, it happens. I mean, I get it, and that shows unbiased. Like, not even my wife's safe from the cutting block.
And again, that was my first game. My second game was the one that you play in on Tuesdays, and apparently I got better at it because we only lost one guy, and that's because he said he relocated. Um,
Oh, and then Erica.
well, right, and well, yeah, I was gonna say, and Erica, and that's how we got Julie as the replacement for
Yep.
Erica, right? Um,
Mm.
but we lost one guy because of his work and relocation, and Erica was involved in school and such, or some
Yep.
classes, whatever she's doing. Um, and we've had these four now for some time. And even if we take
Oh
Julie
yeah.
out, we still had those. I mean, you, Paul, and Felicia are like the original three.
Yep.
So
I
we
think Felicia was like 2, 3 weeks after we really started. I
uh,
think it was like right after I can't remember his name. The guy was playing Parcel. I think like right after he said I can't do it anymore. I think Felicia
oh
was
yeah,
in like
oh
that
yeah, she,
game.
she might have been the replacement for him. I think now that you
I
say
think
that, yeah,
so.
yeah, yeah, yeah. Whereas on Sunday, I only have one original player.
Man,
That's it. So only one. But anyway,
Tuesday night
but
on top.
the point is, it takes time to develop that social. I don't know how do you describe that. Your social network? No, it's not really. That's not the right word. Your social
Like a
bond.
bond.
Yeah,
Yeah,
to
bond.
develop that social bond enough between those four, five, six people that you're playing with to say, yeah, man, this is the group. You know, it's no different than any other social interaction, right? When you're making a new friend, right?
Mm.
You feel each other out. Or you're going out on a
Yeah.
date with someone. First couple of dates, you're filling each other out. I mean, that's what it boils down to. You ask them
Yep.
questions. Who are you? Where you're from? What do you like? What don't you like? What are your
Yep.
interests? All that kind of stuff. And while that may or may not apply in a role playing game setting, but you need to kind of figure each other out a little bit to see if everyone kind of
Y-
plays well in the sandbox together, right? And I like the way that you play, and he likes the way that you know what I'm saying. So it takes a little time.
Yeah.
It takes a little time.
Because it might be, you might just be like, I really hate how Joe, he seems like he's just, we're trying to strategize, and Joe's like, nope, I'm going in. All right, Joe, you can't be doing that no more.
Yeah, I mean, if it happens like once or twice or every once in a while, yeah, we can work with that, but not all the time because then you're not working together as a group. You're doing your own
Yeah,
thing. You're going
we're playing
rogue
a
all the
game,
time.
and Joe, you're just doing, this isn't the Joe game.
So, on a slight sidebar on that, and we're not going to go off on a tangent. Too often, I see players, those who are not well played or not very mature as a player. It happens more often with those who have less player experience. I hate it when they use the excuse of, "Well, that's what my character would do." Come on, man.
Yeah.
Then you need to develop a different character so it
Yeah,
plays
like
with the group because the characters need to play well together too, not just the
yeah, like
players,
you
the
can't,
people, the characters.
yeah, like I just, if you're playing a character that's just like a complete jerk, like that's gonna boil into like Like if I'm playing with some guy and he's just like, "Hey, dummy," like every day, like calling me a dummy, like, I don't want to be with you. I'm gonna be like, "You do you think I'm just a dummy?" And using that as an excuse, like we can't be doing that. Like I don't know, like there'll be sometimes like with my like if there's we're in a situation, I'm like probably shouldn't do that, but then I'm thinking like, no, my character would 100% do that just because he is a dummy. Like I'm gonna go with it, but like most of the time, you shouldn't just be a Leroy Jenkins in it all the time and ruining it for the whole party.
So I'm looking at my notes here. I jotted down a few things. As always, on this YouTube channel, we are not scripted. We are not edited. It's just not what I do. I did take some notes. I don't have a script though. But so the last thing I kind of have noted is um, creative expression and storytelling. So I think the storytelling you see more heavily in the later editions of at least Dungeons and Dragons. I can't attest to any other RPGs because I don't really have too much experience in them, and the
Mm.
experience I have outside of D&D has been many, many years and fairly limited at that. But fifth edition Dungeons and Dragons has been out for what, 15 years now. 2014, right? That was the 2014 because that was the first one. Now they
I'm
have
not.
2025. So yeah, so it's been out for roughly 10 or 12 years, and as I don't know what it was in the beginning when it first came out, but at least now it has evolved due to people on YouTube to be
Yep.
very heavy on the storytelling. And while
Oh
that's
yeah.
not my style, that's not the kind of RPG that I'm looking for, at least not in Dungeons and Dragons. There is that aspect, and some people thrive in that, and they love that, and some people play the game for that storytelling, for that creativity that they can bring to the game and
Mm.
tell a story, write a story, and that's why some groups, actually Julie's Friday night group, they love social interaction. The characters will just sit there and social interact with each other for 20, 30 minutes, if she lets them, and they just go back and forth, and they
Yeah.
love it. They love the social interaction. They love that storytelling. Um, and Julie does pretty good with it with the storytelling aspect. And she kind of really fits herself right in with that group and the 5e kind of tradition as it has kind of become of storytelling. And some people love that.
Yeah, because I know like I'm a big half price books guy, so I usually go in there every Eric and I go like once a week, and I'll just see all their. They never had. I was because I know I was looking for this book. Looking for, hold on.
I was going to say I recognize it. That is the I think the second printing or second or third printing of
Yeah,
the
this book,
yep the player's handbook.
but I they did not have it, and I'm like, you know what? Luckily, Paul had it. Was
I'll tell
able
you,
to
and
send.
you should, yeah, that is in fantastic condition.
I know. I was really surprised.
Fantastic.
But they have a ton of fifth edition stuff, and it's massive books. I'm like, for me, I feel like that kind of boxes in because it's like, oh, well, you have to do this.
Yeah, and
Right?
I'm not gonna go too far off the beaten path here, but the different editions, I think, as the editions progressed, the books got bigger and bigger and bigger, right? Because they started adding more mechanics, more rules, more classes, more races. So the books got bigger, absolutely.
Oh, yeah.
Um, that unto itself, I don't think creates the storytelling aspect. But in terms of boxing in and the creativity side, personally, I feel the earlier editions allow for greater creativity, greater player agency. That
Hmm.
what the player does on behalf, or what the player role plays on behalf of their character, has a greater or more likely to have an impact in the game world.
Yeah.
So and the players have more agency because it's focused on the characters and not the story itself
Yeah, 'cause
in the
remember,
earlier editions.
cause no, like I said, I had the first one, I did. I wish I don't know where it went. I moved a couple times, and then
Oh, the red
um,
one you were talking about earlier.
yeah, I don't know where it went. Like I had it even came with my set that even had the original dice it still came with.
Yep, I have mine.
I don't know. I don't know where it went. It just completely, which sucks. I wish I would, but then my buddies and I were like, "Oh, we should play again." I'm like, "I'll just print off the manual," and I didn't. I just printed. I didn't realize how many editions there were, so I printed off a manual. I didn't realize it. Like, 'cause I was still living at home because I was still in high school. I went through the entire. We just changed the ink cartridge at home, and I went through all of our paper. I'm like, I didn't realize it was gonna be 200 pages. And they're like, nope, you don't have printer privileges anymore. I'm like, I thought I was printing off the original manual because it was, like
Like
that
50
big.
pages, yeah.
Yeah, no, I printed like 200 pages off. And I'm like, oh, well,
So
I,
the
but,
so some people are drawn to the storytelling aspect, right? For whatever
mm,
draws them into that. Some people like that storytelling aspect, whether it be the creativity aspect of it, maybe a self-expression. They kind of put them a little bit of themselves into the story, But some people do like that aspect of it,
oh, yeah.
and I'm not
Cause
downplaying it. Just to each their own.
I know some people, like, they really like, I know Erica's really big and like, that's why she loves Baldur's Gate because if she can kind of create her own little character with her own little backstory, she can romance whoever she really wants. She can do all this stuff. That's what she's really big into the story aspect.
See, and it's funny as a not that there's no way I could call myself a gamer by today's standards, but having been around as a adolescent, as a child, through the birth of video games, there was no friggin' story. You played the game. There was no story,
Yeah.
right? So as a result of that, when I play video games now, I'm like, nope, click through, click through, click through, click through. I don't give a shit about the story. I just want to play. I just want to play. So for me, I think that's one of the things that why I still play first edition now, decades later, and I have not embraced fifth edition. Like I don't even have interest in really reading the player's handbook for fifth edition or really to truly learn the game because I know it's more storytelling and I just want to click through, man. Let's just effing play because
Let's just go.
that's what draws me to RPG. Like I want to play. I don't want to hear a story. I can read a book for that. I want to play.
Yeah.
I want to get
Yeah.
into the mechanics. I want to have that social interaction in my game. I want to have that combat. I want to roll some dice, right? I want to be involved in this game.
Yeah. Because I know like there's like the most famous like the RPG video game is Skyrim, and I know those some people that they go through and read like every single book, they read every piece of lore there is. I'm like, I don't have time for that. Like, I just want to get in a battle. Let's just go. The only game that I ever did that is I'm a big Star Wars guy. Everyone knows that about me, but the Knights of the Republic Star Wars game, I think I've read through every single piece of lore in that game. Besides that, I'm like, nope, I don't care about the story. Let's just get in the battle. Let's just go.
I just want to
That
go.
that's
And I think that's one of the challenges I had with Baldur's Gate when I played it for a matter of like 2 weeks, is it was so friggin' slow. Oh my
oh,
God! All these social interactions with a freaking computer, which are not really that social because it's all pre-formulated. Here are your four options. Choose one. If you choose this, then this happens. If you choose this, then that happens. It's all predetermined, and that's why I have a tough time calling those role-playing games. Who am I role-playing with? There's no role-play. There's not. There's not.
I don't know, Keith. Before I got in the call with you, I was playing, and my partner in the game is Carl Actus. She's a what the hell is she? Not a devil. It's not the devil chick. She's a tiefling.
Okay,
Tiefling. Yep.
Tiefling. Yep, yep.
Her and I just went on a date before I got on the call with you.
But it's
Went on a little.
it's a freaking computer game. Which means there's code, which means it's all if then statements. If this then that. If this then that. If this then that. You can't call that. They shouldn't call that role playing games. They shouldn't. Anyway,
Very,
another tangent for another day. Another tangent for another day. I told myself I was going to be nice on this video, and I wasn't going to keep.
oh,
I
I
was going to keep myself in check.
had to do it, but no, I get it. That's why like in real life, there's like in our kind of game, it's very I know you kind of have some based on some of your videos. I kind of can see some of the stuff you're trying like when you do something like, oh, I know what he's kind of doing, but like you have a kind of a rough outline of what might happen.
Oh,
But so,
you mean
like you could,
in terms of like game prep you're talking about?
yeah. So you're
Yeah,
like, oh, I think this might happen, but then we might end up doing something like you think we're gonna go over here, but we're gonna be way back over there, and you're like, I didn't play for this because it's that you couldn't have prepared for that, so
right.
you gotta be like, oh, well, gotta think on the fly now.
Yep. That's a whole other set of videos there, but yeah. But in terms of okay, so let me flip this back to you here in our closing few minutes. If you want to hit up some bullet points here or whatever, why summary, if you will, conclusion. Why do people play role playing games?
I think the biggest thing is the social aspect to kind of get with people that they might already be friends with, or even meet new people in the community. I know I see, like scroll through Reddit a lot, and there'll be in my towns we have a subreddit, and they'll be like, "Hey, I just moved here. I kind of want to meet up with some people." A lot of people actually suggest trying to meet up at the game shops. Like, hey, there's a every Tuesday, Thursday they have game sessions. Like that's a way to meet people. So I think a big thing is social aspect, and then also kind of breaking free from their regular life.
Yeah, a little escapism, so to speak.
Hmm.
Yeah, a little stress relief for some. Like I know one of the guys I play with um, on Friday. He looks forward to that Friday night all week long because
Oh yeah.
he's like, man, dealing with work all day, 5 days. It's stressful. This is my work environment, and this is my way to kind of wrap up the week, push that all aside, a little stress relief, have a few laughs, have a good time, and kind of get ready for the weekend.
Oh yeah. This is. I mean, everyone at my work knows like it's like Tuesday. I'm like I'm as chipper as I can be on Tuesdays. And then Wednesdays like, oh, what happened? I'm like, oh, let me tell you what happened last night.
And he does that too, or at least he was. Friday night when he went home, he was tells his wife all about what happened in the game session.
I tell Erica, and she's like, "Yep, I could hear you laughing over there." Like I think that one day when we got blown up, she was texting me like, "I can hear you from the basement, just laughing like crazy."
So there you go. Why do people play? Because it's fun. We laugh. We have a good time. Um,
Oh yeah.
and I'll tell you, in terms of the storytelling, for me, it's not so much the storytelling in session. That happens over time. We play it out. We don't have a lot of storytelling. We don't do a lot of lore dump. We don't do great graphic descriptions of the rooms and stuff.
Mhm.
But when we go back and rehash that with our friends the next day, or we come around next week and we say, hey, all right, let's rehash what happened last session, and we start talking about that, we kind of automatically, in it with our own mind, fill in the blanks. And we start
Yep.
describing things. It happened like this, and it happened like that, and this is what happened. For me, that's where the storytelling really comes in.
Oh
Is
yeah.
in the aftermath, right? Is when we're done and we're going back and we're telling our war stories, right, of what happened. That's when we fill in the blanks, you know.
We
And what
got
I love about that
our
too
boat
is
got blown up.
the way you describe that to your coworkers is different than what Julie would describe it, to her other game as to what happened, right? Those
Oh
finer
yeah.
details because you fill it in as you envisioned it in your mind, and that's why. Well, that's an example of why I don't like to be, or I don't like games that are overly descriptive because you're
Mhm.
pulling if you too much, right? You're pulling away from my imagination, and that is where you need to
Exactly.
find the balance between theater of the mind and a visual, whether it be a map, a digital map on our Discord game, or a map and minis on our in-person game. You kind of have to find a certain balance there. But that's where, for me, that's where the storytelling comes in, and I think that is
Mhm.
fantastic, and not the Matt Mercer type storytelling in game.
Mhm.
You know, so and I won't get into the whole Matt Mercer and Brendan Mulligan and that's a whole other conversation. But that's not what we're talking about. So, all right, Caleb, you have last word. We are at 59 minutes, approaching 60. So you have last word. Why do people play role playing games?
I just think for the love of the game. Like you're there with everyone that is going to be in that room or call or shop is all there just to have fun and relax. And I mean, it might be a kind of an iffy game that night, but you're still going to have some kind of fun. You can forget about whatever's at home, whatever's at work for 2, 3, 4 hours at a time, just and be someone completely different.
Agreed.
And that's I don't know, it's just great.
Agreed. All right, and on that, we're going to wrap up our first video on our to be determined playlist name. Um, and we talked about why people play role playing games. Obviously, I don't want to say biased, but we obviously injected a little bit of why we, the two of us, play as
Mhm.
well. But people play role playing games for an assortment of reasons and embrace it, have fun. Whatever role playing game you decide to play, I'm all for it. It's fantastic. I think it's very fruitful. And on
Oh
that,
yeah,
I'm clicking
absolutely.
on stop. Ready, stop.